The Senate will come to order. Members, this morning we have Boy Scouts representing several different troops in the Denver area here to present the colors. The color guard consists of Colin Metzger, an Eagle Scout and Order of the Arrow Lodge Chief; David Gant, an Eagle Scout; Michael Brown, a second-class Scout; Ben Thompson, a Life Scout; Bryce Gant, a Star Scout; and Luke Nortman, a Wolf Cub Scout. The color guard will be led by Eagle Scout Thomas Nortman, who will then also lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. May we have the presentation of the colors.
Color guard, attention. Audience, please rise. Color guard, forward march. Halt. Present the colors. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Scout salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Prepare to post the colors. Post. Reform rank. Color guard forward march. Color guard at ease. Audience, you may be seated.
Mr. Majors, would you please take the roll?
Aguilar, Balmer, Baumgartner, Brophy, Brophy,
Absent? Present?
Cadman, Crowder, Grantham, Guzman, Harvey, Heath, Herpin, Hill, Hodge, John, Johnston, Jones, Kafalis, Kerr, King, Lambert, Lundberg, Marble, Newell, Nicholson, Renfro, Rivera, Roberts, Scheffel, Schwartz, Stedman, Tocktrop, Todd, Ulibarri, Zenzinger. Madam President.
Here. With 35 present, 0 absent, and 0 excused, the Senate has a quorum. Motion to adopt the journal, Senator Marble.
Madam President, I move that the reading of the journal dated Friday, March 21st be dispensed with, as the journal is approved and corrected by our most marvelous and beloved secretary.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Committee reports.
March 21st, 2014, Committee on State Veterans and Military Affairs. After consideration of the Mayor's Committee recommends the following: Senate Bill 158 be amended as follows, and also amended before the Committee of the Whole favorable recommendation. March 21st, 2014, Committee on State Veterans and Military Affairs. After consideration of the Mayor's Committee recommends the following: Senate Bill 161 be amended as follows, and also amended before the Committee on Appropriations with favorable recommendation. March 21st, 2014, Committee on State Veterans and Military Affairs. After consideration of the Mayor's Committee recommends the following: House Bill 1277 before the Committee of the Whole favorable recommendation, with the recommendation be placed on the consent calendar.
Senate Services.
March 24th, 2014, correctly printed Senate Bills 164, 165, and 166, correctly revised House Bills 1080, 911, 05, and 1254, correctly re-revised House Bills 1148 and 1206, correctly enrolled Senate Bills 109, 110, and 119, Senate Joint Resolution 16 and 19.
Introduction of resolutions.
Senate Joint Resolution 22 by Senators Baumgartner and Heath and Representatives Del Grosso and Becker concerning the recognition and commendation of the people of Colorado and the United States on the 100th anniversary of the establishment of Rocky Mountain National Park.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move we lay over Senate Joint Resolution 22 until April 11th.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Senate Joint Resolution 22 will lay over until April 11th. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move we proceed out of order for a moment of personal privilege for Senator Stedman.
The motion is to proceed out of order to grant Senator Stedman a moment of personal privilege. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Senator Stedman's granted a moment of personal privilege. Senator Stedman. You're done.
Thank you, Madam President. In my moment of personal privilege, colleagues, I would like to acknowledge someone from my district who's visiting the Capitol this morning who has received a very high honor from the President of the United States. Each year, the President has established a program to recognize the National Teachers of the Year in the STEM fields, specifically math and science. 2 teachers from each state are honored with this National STEM Teacher of the Year award, and I have the very distinct pleasure to be presenting a tribute today from both myself and Representative Lois Court, because the teacher in question teaches at Carson Elementary School, located in our district in Denver. I'd like you to all just take a moment and help me greet and welcome Elizabeth Grabois, who's back here in the corner. Elizabeth, if you could please stand, let it wave to everybody. Thank you. She's here, thank you, colleagues. She's here this morning with her husband Joel and members of their family, and she's got the niftiest pin from the White House that she received when she was back in Washington recently to be recognized along with other outstanding science, technology, engineering, mathematics teachers from around the country. Elizabeth teaches math and was Colorado's math teacher who was honored at the White House recently. And we just really want to congratulate you, Elizabeth, and thank you very much for the work you're doing teaching the next generation of Coloradans important skills that will prepare them for the careers of the future. We know how important STEM education is, and it's an honor to have you here this morning. Thank you. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I move we proceed out of order for the purpose of considering Senate Joint Resolution 20.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. The Senate will proceed out of order to consider Senate Joint Resolution 20. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Joint Resolution 20?
Senate Joint Resolution 20 by Senator Todd and Representatives Kraftharp and Rankin concerning the designation of March 24th, 2014 as Colorado Aerospace Day, and in connection therewith commemorating the establishment of a Colorado chapter of Citizens for Space Exploration.
Senator Todd.
Thank you. Thank you,
Madam President, and greetings to everyone this morning. I hope everyone is flying high, so to speak, as we talk about aerospace. And with that, I move Senate Joint Resolution 1420 and ask that it please be read at length.
Mr. Majors, please read it at length.
Whereas our nation and the world have significantly benefited from the technological and scientific advances resulting from space exploration and aerospace activities. And whereas at the dawn of the space age, there were two nations that could put people into space, the United States and the Soviet Union. And whereas today there are still two nations that can put people into space, but the United States is no longer one of them. And whereas the United States has been replaced by China as the second nation alongside Russia that can put people into space using their own national assets. And whereas the United States lost the ability to put people into space with the end of NASA's space shuttle program in 2011 and now has to transfer $70 million out of our economy and into the economy of Russia for each astronaut our nation puts into space. And whereas Colorado is key to regaining the United States' ability to send people into space again using our own national assets with programs from several Colorado companies that are building the space vehicles and launch systems necessary to restore our nation's spaceflight ability. And whereas key to Colorado's prominence in aerospace are two organizations. First, the Colorado Space Coalition, a group of industry stakeholders including aerospace companies, military leaders, academic organizations, research centers, and economic development groups who promote Colorado's significant space assets and advance legislation vital to industry growth and to successfully working to make Colorado a center of excellence for aerospace. And second, the Colorado Space Business Roundtable, a group that brings together aerospace stakeholders from industry, government, and academia for roundtable discussions and business development, and that encourages grassroots citizen participation in aerospace issues. And whereas restoring our nation's leadership in space is important to our national security and our ability to continue to lead the world in technology and innovation, ensuring the economic security of the United States. And whereas restoring our nation's leadership in space depends on our citizens understanding the importance and values of space because, for all its problems, Congress does largely work as intended. Members of Congress react to the issues their constituents feel are important, and not many citizens are telling their elected officials that they want to restore our nation's leadership in space. And whereas, for perspective, the first bank bailout in 2009 of $850 billion was more money spent in 1 year than NASA has received in its entire history. And whereas the Colorado Space Business Roundtable is forming a Colorado chapter of Citizens for Space Exploration, which will hold several events each year where citizens will be invited to learn about space, the value of space, and public policy involving space, with the goal of informing citizens about the importance of space and restoring our nation's leadership and funding for space activities. Now, therefore, be it resolved by the Senate of the 69th General Assembly of the State of Colorado, the House of Representatives concurring herein, that we strongly urge and request the federal branches of government to take action to preserve and enhance United States leadership in space, to spur aerospace innovation, and to ensure our continued national and economic security by preserving and increasing funding for space exploration and activities, including regaining the ability of the United States to deliver persons and cargo to space by 2015, and committing to sending persons to destinations such as the Moon, Lagrange points, asteroids, and Mars within the decade or as soon as technologically possible. That we commend the Colorado Space Business Roundtable on its public outreach and organization efforts in forming a Colorado chapter of Citizens for Space Exploration, and that we hereby declare March 24th, 2014 to be Colorado Aerospace Day. Be it further resolved that a copy of this joint resolution be sent to Governor John Hickenlooper, Lieutenant Governor Joe Garcia, Mr. Charles Huetner, Executive Director, Aerospace States Association, Mr. Elliot Pulham, Chief Executive Officer, Space Foundation, Major General Retired Andy Love, Co-Chair of the Colorado Space Coalition, Mr. Tom Marsh, Co-Chair of the Colorado Space Coalition, Mr. Edgar Johansson, President, Colorado Space Business Roundtable, Ms. Stacy DeFore, Chair of the Colorado Space Business Roundtable, Citizens for Space Exploration, and the members of Colorado's congressional delegation.
Well, Senator Todd.
Thank you, Madam President. Colleagues, thank you for your attention and time and interest in this really important subject. We often hear that resolutions are not that significant and don't really make that much difference, but we know that in this particular case, there are many people that have joined us today, and the impact for the state of Colorado that is thinking that it is very important to the state of Colorado and to show its support for aerospace industry. As a former teacher, you know, I really like to show and tell, and so I'm going to, oh, thank you, Senator Newell, if you want to help me with that. That this is a picture of Colorado. It doesn't look like Colorado, but it is a picture of Colorado's impact. If you had a chance to visit the booths downstairs on the first floor at the various companies and organizations here today, you probably heard about the aggressive actions that other states like Florida and Texas are taking to try to grow their aerospace industries. And it is important that in addition to the pro-business climate of our state and the pro-business legislation we've been working on this session and others, that we take the time to learn more about the importance of aerospace to our nation and specifically to the state of Colorado. That we take time to get to know our state's aerospace industry and thank them for being here in Colorado and for all they do for science, technology, to improve our economy and to improve life here on Earth. I thought it was very telling that our Teacher of the Year came on Aerospace Day. I think that was not a fluke. It really plays out very well. Most people don't seem to realize that Colorado is an aerospace state. I really didn't understand that until most recently, but Colorado employs more people in aerospace per capita than any other state with almost 170,000 primary jobs. That's pretty amazing. There are not too many other industries that can say that. So aerospace equals 170,000 well-paid primary jobs. Aerospace touches every aspect of the Colorado economy, and in addition to about $1.8 billion in NASA prime contracts annually, number 3 in the country. We have 3 space-related military bases as well. And though we appreciate the larger companies that are located in Colorado, such as Lockheed Martin, Ball, ULA, and Sierra Nevada, it is wonderful to note that just over half of Colorado's 400 or so aerospace companies employ fewer than 10 people. As just one example of a smaller business that does work in aerospace as well as other industry sectors, the chair of the Colorado Space Business Roundtable, Stacy DeFore, is with a small woman-owned software company called Ephibian. There are countless small business people here with us today, and I urge you to meet them and everyone here for Aerospace Day if you have time, either on the floor or downstairs with some of the exhibits. I would like to stress the importance of the information in the resolution about how the United States is presently dependent on Russia to get our own astronauts into space. That concerns me. I hope it concerns you. That should concern each one of us because of the national security and economic implications, but also because our nation is no longer the undisputed leader in aerospace, technology, and innovation. Colleagues, I hope you'll join me in spreading the information in the resolution to your constituents and encourage people to become involved in the Colorado chapter of Citizens for Space Exploration. I would encourage you to even make an attachment on your newsletters to include what that resolution, Senate Joint Resolution 20, has said. It's great to know that Colorado once again is leading our nation, this time in America's return to human space flight. I know we are looking forward to the first test flight this fall of the Orion spacecraft being developed by Lockheed Martin and to be launched by United Launch Alliance, both Colorado companies. Then sometime the year or so following, we should see the first test flight of Sierra Nevada's Dream Chaser, another Colorado project, and also to be launched by ULA, United Launch Alliance. I want to thank you for taking the time to really listen, because we talk about growing business, we talk about really putting Colorado at the forefront. It's a combination of equipping our businesses, such as aerospace, to continue to flourish and have the success. And it's important for us to educate our youth and help them know and understand, with excellent teachers like Elizabeth this morning, to make sure that they are aware of and know the importance of what aerospace is all about. We have gained we have made so many accomplishments in the United States, and Colorado specifically, through aerospace discoveries. And so with that, I am very excited and would like to ask you to, again, please share not only the resolution, but to tout Colorado in something that many citizens are not aware of, and that is that we are one of the leaders in aerospace industry. And with that, Madam President, at an appropriate time, I would like to make a few introductions.
Senator Todd, you can do that now or any time before we vote, your choice.
Okay, I will go ahead and do it right now. We do have, and if all of you that are in the aerospace industry would please stand up, I would appreciate that. We have upstairs and downstairs. So thank you, upstairs and downstairs. Most specifically, Edgar Johansson and Stacy DeFore with the Colorado Space Business Roundtable, if you'll just give a wave. And Jason Kuchera, American Institute of Aeronautics and Astronautics. Vicki Lee, Colorado Space Coalition. Chris Chavez, United Launch Alliance. Christy Lee, Lockheed Martin. And these are all folks that I got a chance to meet and see their hands-on in Florida with the launch of the MAVEN project, which is studying, it's still up there, and I think it's sleeping. Is it sleeping right now, Chris? Yeah, so it's sleeping, but we are really studying what is going on the surface of Mars and trying to make sure that we get that information back to us. We are America. We are number one, and we should be number one. It troubles me deeply that we are reliant on Russia. It troubles each one of us that we should not be reliant on another nation to be doing what we know and what we know how to do right. So with that, I thank you, all of you, for being with us today and upstairs as well. And please take time, colleagues, to mix it up and visit with them and find out what kinds of things that each one of us can do to be promoting the aerospace in Colorado and in the United States. Thank you.
Thank you. Senator Newell.
Thank you, Madam President. I rise in support of Aerospace Day for many reasons. Many of you know that my father was a psychologist with the astronauts early on, and we saw every launch that there was during those times. And also, though, to bring it home to Colorado, I used to work for the EchoStar Corporation, which satellite television, which uses many of the aerospace providers that are in Colorado, and we had launches there while I worked their satellite launches. There is so much around us that we're not even aware of. I live just north of the Lockheed Martin facilities down at Deer Creek Canyon, and it is amazing to know how many constituents of ours are in the industry. And the last thing I do really want to say is that in order to build this talent pipeline that we need for our future in aerospace, because we have many people starting to retire now, and we need to keep filling that talent pipeline. We need to, in the legislature, make sure that we are making sure that we bring attention to the science, technology, engineering, and math courses. All of that curricula can help, and inspiring the kiddos to get involved at a young age so that they're excited to be part of that workforce. So thank you so much, Senator Todd, for bringing this forward again, and really appreciate all of you upstairs and down for being a part of such a lively aerospace industry. So thank you.
Senator Rivera.
Thank you, Madam President. It wasn't until about a month and a half ago, I guess it was, that I didn't realize how large a part that the aerospace industry played here in Pueblo. I know Delta rockets were, components were made in Pueblo back quite a few years ago, but until the good senator from Aurora, the resolution sponsor and chair of the Transportation Committee, had the wisdom to bring some folks down from the aerospace industry and show us just how important part of Colorado's economy it actually is. I didn't, again, realize how large a part that aerospace industry played in Colorado. So I rise in support again of this resolution. And the thing that is really, I found very interesting was the fact that it's not just huge corporations, Lockheed Martin and so on, that provide the knowledge and the expertise, but how many small businesses that provide the smaller working parts and able to provide the smaller pieces that go into these space vehicles and space research vehicles. So once again, I rise in support of this resolution, and thank you very much.
Senator Herpin.
Thank you, Madam President. As an aerospace engineering graduate, having completed my military career at Air Force Space Command and NORAD, North American Aerospace Defense Command, and a former Lockheed Martin employee, I thank those who are involved in the aerospace industry and rise in support of this great resolution to recognize Aerospace Day in Colorado. Thank you.
Todd. Thank you. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I've got to take a moment representing Boulder and having the opportunity to tour Ball Aerospace and all the marvelous things that they have done in terms of space technology and putting the visual component up there in space. It's a marvelous corporation, as are all of the others that we have here. It is truly a huge asset for this state. And yes, I agree, Senator Todd, bringing this resolution. We really need to do everything we can to support this industry.
Senator Jones.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, Madam President, excuse me. I'm happy to have Sierra Nevada in Louisville, and it's Mike Dickey over here with Sierra Nevada. And they have a connection to CU, and they're building the next spacecraft. You've seen the competition that's going on. Well, Colorado is competing in that, and it's out of Louisville. They work with CU to do a lot of their research and that kind of thing, and it just shows how it all fits together. So be sure to make your reservation. They'll be taking people up, I'm sure, at some point, so sign up.
Any further discussion? Senator Lambert.
Thank you, Madam President, and I stand in support of Senate Joint Resolution 20. If anything, I think this resolution understates a little bit how important aerospace is in Colorado. Not just what's going on now, but the legacy that we've had throughout the last probably 60, 70 years in advanced developments. And just a couple of things. I know Senator Heath just mentioned area of Boulder and Ball Aerospace. I'm sorry, the senator from Boulder mentioned mentioned Boulder and Ball Aerospace. But we also have to remember that we have a large cadre of trained people in the astronaut program. University of Colorado is a major source of astronauts that have trained to go to space, as is the Air Force Academy, which I would consider probably the #1 aerospace undergraduate facility in the world. And United States Space Command, or Air Force Space Command in Colorado Springs, and the several wings around Colorado that do very important missions that are critical to our national defense. Back in 2001, there was a report released in January 2001 by Donald Rumsfeld, who had actually been working on a blue ribbon panel for the advancement of space in the United States. He had just been nominated to become Secretary of Defense. But that report was rather critical of where we were as a nation. The Senator has mentioned that we're losing an advantage to other nations. I think that report highlighted that. And I had just arrived at Air Force Space Command at that time when that report was released. I think it was the 6th of January 2001. And we would start to gear up. U.S. Space Command at that time was centered in Colorado Springs. And we had the best space cadre in the world, best military space cadre in the world, to get some of those programs instituted. Unfortunately, as a result of 9/11, our national priorities changed. United States Space Command, because there's a very limited number of unified commands that will be supported by Congress, that command was dissolved. A lot of those functions were transferred to Omaha, Nebraska, and we literally lost the best military space cadre of any country in the world. Some of the other functions were picked up by Air Force, Army, and Navy space commands. And Army and Air Force Space Command are still existent centered in Colorado Springs. But we've had to back off a lot of the advanced programs that we probably should be doing. In Colorado Springs, we also host the Space Symposium, which I believe is the largest convention anywhere in Colorado, and it has been for a number of years. It is the #1 space symposium in the world. It's an international symposium where not only new products but new ideas, new ventures are discussed with some of the best and brightest in this field in the world. So I think right now, like I say, I support the resolution, but this is just scratches the surface of the importance of space here in Colorado. And you know, I think on future resolutions, we have in the past emphasized some of those points, but certainly this is a partnership between the civilian space programs in NASA, the military space programs, all of our partners from many different corporations who actually build stuff and shoot stuff into space, all of our communicators. You know, we have cell phone technologies and GPS that are beyond imagination. That program is run out of Colorado Springs. So we have very, very important things that not everybody in the public either is aware of or really appreciates about how important and how central Colorado's programs are, and we are host to so many different programs here in the civilian workforce as well as the military. And I thank you, Senator Todd, for bringing this forward.
Senator Schwartz.
Thank you, Madam President. I also rise in support of the resolution and want to again acknowledge the University of Colorado's role with our aerospace program and having more astronauts, I think, than any other institution. We're joined by a young man from that program, and maybe you would stand, and wearing the spacesuit from NASA, and just reminding us, you're not in fact an astronaut, and I think that's what you told me, but in fact, you do symbolize that work, that service, the bravery, and the dedication of astronauts that have gone into space on behalf of our nation. And some of your recent work has been at the Johnson Space Center in Texas, and just wanted to acknowledge my uncle's great service there. Some of you might remember Aaron Cohen, who was in his leadership at the Johnson Space Center. But again, we all have to think about those astronauts willing and other civilians that have gone into space on behalf of the nation.
Thank you. Senator Lombard.
Thank you, Madam President. Not from my district, but having attended a presentation from Metro State just last week, I believe would be remiss in not acknowledging that they, in fact, have one of the top programs in the nation for training in the area of aerospace. And I see that the sponsor is well aware of that as well. Don't have my glasses on, so I won't read the fine print, but I simply tell you that it's very many places in Colorado, including just a few blocks down the street.
Senator Todd.
Thank you, Madam President, and thank you all so very much for your important comments and for your addition and your attentiveness. So with that, I simply would ask again for your aye vote on Senate Joint Resolution 1420.
The question before the body is the adoption of Senate Joint Resolution 20. Are there any no votes? With 35 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 0 excused, Senate Joint Resolution 20 is adopted. Senator Todd.
Thank you, Madam President. And it's always fun to have that spontaneous reaction from people who really believe in what they're doing. But with that, I would also ask for the morning roll call to be added as co-sponsors of Senate Joint Resolution 20.
Is there any objection? The morning roll call will be added as co-sponsors to Senate Joint Resolution 20.
Thank you all for being here today. Now go over to the House and get to do the same thing.
Over to the House. Members, we have two special guests here today that we're welcoming back, former members and colleagues from the Colorado State Senate. It is my pleasure to introduce with us this morning Senator Maynard Yost from Sterling, Colorado, as well as Senator Martin Hatcher from Gunnison. Members, please help us welcome them back to the chamber. Senator Brophy.
Thank you, Madam President. I guess for a moment of personal privilege, briefly, with Senator Yost here.
Let me just grant you a motion real quick. All in favor of granting Senator Brophy a moment of personal privilege out of order, please say aye. Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Senator Brophy, please proceed.
Thank you, Madam President. Senator Yost and I were talking about the history of Senate District 1, and for those of you who would have any interest in it, it's kind of fun to talk about this if you get a chance with all of the rest of your respective Senate districts. Senator Yost was first elected in 1978, served one term, followed by Senator Brandon from Akron, followed by then Jim Brandon ran for Congress for the 4th Congressional District in 1990, lost a three-way primary. In 1990, Senator Donna Mint took that Senate district, and then he was followed by Senator Musgrave, followed by Senator Hillman, followed by yours truly from Ray, Colorado. So the 6th generation of Senate District 1. Welcome, sir.
Mr. Majority Leader, you want to move Senator Schwartz a moment of personal privilege? Out of order.
Thank you, Madam President. I move a moment of personal privilege for Senator Schwartz.
Motion is to grant Senator Schwartz a moment of personal privilege out of order. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it. Senator Schwartz, go ahead.
Thank you, Madam President. And we do have the honor of Senator Martin Hatcher here and his great service from the Western Slope, and he still remains an inspirational leader and someone I've so enjoyed getting to know and emulate his good service for the state of Colorado. So thank you, Senator Hatcher, for coming back to the chamber.
Introduction of bills.
Senate Bill 167 by Senators Enzinger and Representative Fields concerning an initiative to support innovation among alternative education campuses and serving high-risk students.
Education. Third reading of bills. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1105?
House Bill 1105 by Representative Mitch Bush and Senator Todd concerning the exemption from the state gasoline and special fuel tax of sales between governmental entities.
Senator Todd. Third reading, House Bill 1105.
Thank you, Madam President, and I move House Bill 1105 on third reading and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question for the body is the adoption of House Bill 1105. Are there any no votes? Senator Marble. Senators Hill, Baumgartner, Brophy, Balmer, Harvey, Renfro, Lundberg, Lambert. With 26 ayes, 9 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1105 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senator Nicholson. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1254?
House Bill 1254 by Representative Labuda and Senator Balmer concerning a requirement to disclose fees charged to a unit owners association by a community association manager.
Senator Balmer.
Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, I move House Bill 1254 on third reading and final passage and ask for an aye vote.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of House Bill 1254. Are there any no votes? Senator Marble, Senator Baumgartner, Senator Harvey. With 32 ayes, 3 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1254 is adopted. Co-sponsors. Senator Kafalis. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1089?
House Bill 1089 by Representative Hamner and Senator Schwartz concerning the qualification for a person to use the 10th Mountain Division license plate.
Senator Schwartz.
Thank you, Madam President, and I move House Bill 1089 on third reading and final passage and asked this time for an aye vote. And I just want to again acknowledge this opportunity to recognize members of the 10th Mountain Division. As many of you may be aware and you may know that in 1940 that we formed the 10th Mountain Division and they were trained at Camp Hale in Colorado and until January of 1945. And that division fought for over 110 days of combat and took every objective and never retreated. After the war, the division was decommissioned and its members scattered, and also became an opportunity to create the ski industry in the state of Colorado and nationally. In 1959, there was a memorial built in honor of the 1,000 members of the division that were killed in action and that were trained in Colorado. And the 10th Mountain Foundation continues to honor that heritage and that sacrifice. And now we now have the 10th Mountain Light, and that is our rapid deployment force. And many of you may be aware that it has been the most deployed Army unit since the Second World War. And we want to, and unfortunately many have been wounded or killed in action, and that foundation again will acknowledge their work. So what we have today is actually, we have a plate, many of you have seen it, but we are creating a charity plate, and we'll have that function as many other plates do at this time, and that will be providing an opportunity to have the plate, but also have the support of not only our veterans, support of Colorado history, support of Colorado ski industry and tourism, but even more importantly, today we have our Vets to Huts program. And the 10th Mountain Hut program that hopefully many of you are aware of or have had an opportunity to enjoy, that is a tremendous tradition in the mountain areas of our state. Today, I am honored by Greg Kyle as well as Tom Haynes from the foundation, but ask for your support of House Bill 1089 and also support of the 10th Mountain.
Senator Lundberg.
Thank you, Madam President. Members, I'm voting no on this bill, and I wanted to explain why. Because I have the highest respect and regard for those who served in the 10th Mountain Division. Indeed, I had the honor and privilege of knowing one of those individuals, and he's no longer with us, even as most have passed on from that greatest generation. But this bill I don't support, and really I'd put it down for two reasons. One, I remember a few years ago, it was wrapping up a week-long backpacking trip, and we were at, I remember we were right by the Mount Champion Mill, which is right by Mount Champion, and this guy comes driving up in this old Austrian troop carrier with 10th Mountain Division plates on it. And at that point in time, I assumed that that means he or one of his family members was associated with the 10th Mountain Division. And he said, no, you can just buy these plates. You know, it's a little extra fee for the vanity plate, you might call it. But that was what he chose to put on that vehicle, and it looked quite appropriate. And I thought that was a great idea. Well, as I'm reading this bill, if I understand it correctly, now for him to continue to use these plates, he is going to have to pay this extra fee. And the fee is to this, I'm sure, most worthy organization. But that is not right, that we do a little bait and switch to folks. I understand there are like 12,000 plates out there that have the 10th Mountain Division. And that's a very popular plate. Well, we're going to tell all those folks, you can keep your plate if, in fact, you will pay the extra fee that we're now attaching to it to make it a charity plate. If you're going to start fresh for a plate, maybe that has a legitimate role. But to take an existing plate for which thousands of people in Colorado have chosen to put that on their vehicle and now say to them, whatever this organization places, there's some statutory limits, but it's still up to the organization, if I understand this correctly, to establish an amount that they will assess for the use of those plates. I believe that's a bait and switch. I don't believe that's appropriate. Now, I said there were two reasons. The other reason is I'm not sure we should be in the business of, again, picking winners and losers by setting up these programs for, I'm sure, worthy organizations. But there are thousands of worthy organizations in this state. So how is it that we come about to think that we're going to bless a few somewhat at the expense of others because they become the favored? It's like the tax checkoff system. It's not the business of the state government to get involved in this, and this is one more step down that road. So despite my high respect and the honor I give to those men and I'm sure women who served in the 10th Mountain Division, and they're extraordinary stories you can learn of that preparation and then what they did in the defense of our country. I have the highest respect for them, but this bill is not appropriate policy for the people of Colorado.
Question before the body is the adoption of House Bill 1089. Are there any no votes? Mr. Minority Leader, Senators Scheffel, Lundberg, Marble, Lambert, Harvey, Hill, Baumgartner, Renfro, Hodge, Grantham, Doctorow. With 23 ayes, 12 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, House Bill 1089 is adopted. Co-sponsors: Senator Todd, Senator Aguilar, Senator Kerr, Members, we have another special guest joining us this morning. Please welcome former Senator and colleague, Senator William Bledsoe. Thank you for joining us. Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. I request that House Bill 1080 be removed from today's consent calendar and placed at the end of today's general order second reading of bills calendar.
House Bill 1080 will be removed from consent and placed on the end of general order second reading consent calendar. General order second reading of bills. Senator Stedman.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the Senate resolve itself into a committee of the whole for consideration of general orders.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. The ayes have it. The Senate will resolve itself into a committee of the whole for purpose of considering general orders, second reading of bills, and Senator Stedman will take the chair.
The committee will come to order, and the coat rule is relaxed. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1193?
House Bill 1193 by Representative Salazar, Senator Gonzalez, concerning requirements governing the imposition of a fee for the research and retrieval of public records under the Colorado Open Records Act.
Senator Cavalas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, colleagues. I move House Bill 1193 and the State Veterans and Military Affairs Committee report.
To the committee report, Senator Cavalas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Colleagues, the committee report basically changed the re-engrossed bill in the following way. First of all, the bill 1193 is about research and retrieval fees concerning the Colorado Open Records Act. And so the committee report made the following changes. Rather than having the formula, which was in the re-engrossed version of the bill that said 4 times the minimum wage would be the highest amount that a government could charge for research and retrieval, we changed that formula to say, number one, that the first hour of a request time spent is free, and that the maximum that could be charged is $30 per hour. And in the committee report, we also said that every 5 years this could be adjusted based on the inflation rate. That is the committee report, Mr. Chair. Ask for support.
Discussion of this committee report. Seeing none, the question before the committee is the adoption of the report of the State Veterans and Military Affairs Committee. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Ayes have it, and the report is adopted. To the bill, Senator Cavalas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
We have an amendment on the desk.
Yes, I move L006.
Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to L006?
Amendment L006, House Bill 1193.
Senator Cavalas.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Colleagues, please take a look at the amendment, but basically it's a technical change based on input in the State Veterans and Military Affairs Committee. We are tightening up the language, basically making it more succinct. So if you look at the amendment, page 1, line 3, we are basically saying custodian, including the amount of any current fee, and we are removing lines 18 through 23 on the committee report. What this essentially does, it says that recall that 1193 requires state and local governments to post their policies, their written policies regarding CORA, and this also says that in addition to procedures and conditions, the current fee structure also needs to be posted. We're just tightening up the language.
Senator Jones.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Well, I'm responsible for this amendment out of committee. I just didn't like the way the amendment was written. It repeated language, and it didn't need to be repeated, so it's me kind of saying I hate seeing repeated language in statutes, so let's clean this thing up, and that's all this is.
Further discussion on Amendment L006. Seeing none, the question before the committee is the adoption of Amendment L006. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. The ayes have it, and the amendment is adopted. Now, to the bill. Senator Cavalas.
Thank you kindly, Mr. Chair. Colleagues, House Bill 1193 requires that any government custodian that imposes a research and retrieval fee to develop a written policy and establishes a maximum hourly fee that can be charged. This bill is supported by the Colorado Press Association, the Colorado Broadcasters Association, Common Cause, Ethics Watch, and the Independence Institute. The League of Women Voters also testified in support of the bill in the House. Basically, what we're trying to do is shine more light on state and local government in Colorado by creating more certainty for the citizen, for the public to be able to access open records, public records, and to know what the charges will be, and to know that these are the procedures that one must follow. I believe it's a good bill. I think it moves us forward, and happy to answer any questions, and I certainly ask for your support.
Further discussion on House Bill 1193? Seeing none, the question before the committee is the adoption of House Bill 1193. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it, and the bill is adopted. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Bill 16?
Senate Bill 16 by Senator Aguilar and Representative Moreno concerning the ability of certain healthcare facilities to provide emergency services outside a hospital setting.
Senator Heath.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move we lay over Senate Bill 16 until next Monday, March 31st.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Ayes have it. The bill will be laid over. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1110, or 1210, I'm sorry.
House Bill 1210 by Representative Jerome, Senator Roberts concerning a requirement that a state agency enter into an intergovernmental agreement with the county to address wildland fires affecting certain state lands located within the county.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1210. And I don't think there's a committee report.
No. To the bill, Senator Roberts. Oh, I'm sorry, we have a floor amendment on the desk. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Amendment L003?
Amendment L003 to House Bill 1210 by Senator Schwartz. Amend re-engross bill, page 4, line 20, after lands, add, however, the Department of Natural Resources and the State Land Board shall evaluate the feasibility of entering into intergovernmental agreements similar to those required under subparagraph A of this subparagraph I for state trust lands. Prior to September 1st, 2014, the Department of Natural Resources shall report to the Wildfire Matters Review Committee created in Section 23-1602 CRS regarding any conclusions reached subsequent to this evaluation, including reasonable alternatives to address
Senator
wildland
Schwartz.
fire.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and ask that we have an aye vote for Amendment 3 of House Bill.
Senator Schwartz, would you please move your amendment?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Amendment 3 of House Bill 1210. And basically what this does is clarify in the bill an opportunity to have a review by the Wildland Fire Mitigation of the committee, of the Wildfire Matters Committee, to review the different elements of the IGA and discussion of all of the state lands that may be incorporated into the provisions of Senate Bill 1210.
Discussion on Amendment L003. Seeing none, the question before the committee is the adoption of Amendment L003. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say no. I'll break the tie. The amendment passes. To the bill, Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. House Bill 1210 is basically addressing the issue of when there is a wildfire that begins on state lands, divvying out who's going to handle the fighting of the fire as well as the costs associated with it. This bill originally did lay it out, but with the amendment now it'll be a matter referred to the Wildfire Matters Review Committee.
Is there further discussion on House Bill 1210? Seeing none, the question before the committee is the adoption of House Bill 1210. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Ayes have it, and the bill is adopted. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1047?
House Bill 1047 by Representative Baker and Senator Guzman concerning restrictions on the publishing of basic identification information on commercial websites.
Senator Guzman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1047 on second reading and the Judiciary Committee report.
To the Judiciary Committee report, Senator Guzman.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The bill was amended in the Senate Judiciary Committee with a strike below amendment, which was L005. It clarified that it is unlawful for a person to obtain a copy of a booking photograph knowing that it will be placed in a publication or posted to a website, and that removal of the photograph requires the payment of a fee. It also stated that upon requesting a copy of a booking photograph from an official custodian, a person is required to provide a signed statement affirming that the photograph will not be placed in a publication or posted on a website that requires payment of a fee in order to remove or delete the photograph. A person who violates the law or provides a false statement commits an unclassified misdemeanor publishable by a fine of up to $1,000. That was the Judiciary Committee report, Mr. Chair.
Is there further discussion of the Judiciary Committee report? Seeing none, the question before the committee is the adoption of the Judiciary Committee report. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. The ayes have it, and the report is adopted. Senator Guzman, I believe the committee report is the bill, but we're now to the bill.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. That's correct. That is the bill. The bill simply requires anyone requesting a mugshot to sign a form saying that they will not put it on the website and make people pay for the removal of that mugshot. It doesn't keep someone from getting these mugshots because that is a First Amendment commercial right, as they are public records, but it does take away the incentive for these companies to get them because their main goal seems to be to make business out of these mugshots by charging someone to remove the picture. That is the bill, Mr. Chair, and I renew my motion to adopt.
Is there further discussion for House Bill 1047? Senator Heath.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This is a very, very important, and I would say first step in dealing with this issue, which I think is pretty egregious in what it does. So I just want to thank the bill sponsor for doing this, and I think this is something that we're going to have to look at as we proceed in the future. But I would respectfully request an aye vote as well.
Further discussion? Seeing none, the question before the committee is the adoption of House Bill 1047. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. The ayes have it, and the bill is adopted. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1274?
House Bill 1274 by Representatives Kraft, Tharp, and Holbert, and Senator John concerning the modification of certain limitations on the managers of a bank chartered by Colorado.
Senator John.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I will move House Bill 1274. There is no committee report. It is a really simple bill. It came out of the House 65-0, and then we took it through committee. So currently, our law prohibits a state bank from executing a contract for the employment of an officer for more than 1 year and requires 2/3 of the directors of a state bank to be residents of this state and majority of the directors to reside within 100 miles of the place of business of the bank. This repeals these limitations. It has caused a lot of grief and hardship in sometimes filling these positions, and it substituted a requirement that a majority of the directors be residents of the state. So Colorado is unique, and it places the following confines on state-owned banks that no other state requires. So Colorado is the only one that requires this. All directors of a state-chartered bank must live in the state, and no officer contract may extend longer than 1 year. There's actually cases where the state-chartered banks have been purchased by out-of-state owners. The only thing that does is take the jobs out of state because where that charter is parked is where the employment is going to be. Colorado does not realize any benefit besides the location of the bank to serve the community. So the bill is needed because we need to preserve the value of a state-chartered bank in Colorado by removing roadblocks that may contribute to other states getting the benefit of that charter. This bill does not favor federal charters over state charters. It has nothing to do with promoting one over the other. It simply preserves the value of Colorado state charter over another state by keeping Colorado on equal footing with the other states when it comes to requirements for state charters. And with that, Mr. Chair, I will ask for a yes vote on 1274.
Is there further discussion? Seeing none, the question before the committee is the adoption of House Bill 1274. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, say no. The ayes have it, and the bill is adopted. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Bill 156?
Senate Bill 156 by Senators Gonzalez and Heath and Representative Lee concerning a requirement that a public benefit corporation file an annual report.
Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move Senate Bill 156 on second reading, and there is no committee report.
To the bill. Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, sir. Colleagues, basically 156 is adding the word annual. A bill that we passed last year, House Bill 1138, concerning public benefit corporations. The intent was that the reporting to the shareholders and to be posted on their website would be an annual report to show their progress towards meeting the goals of the public benefit corporation. We unintentionally left out the word annual. We're needing to do that statutorily, and that's what Senate Bill 156 is about. Thank you.
Senator Heath.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just would concur. Again, all we're doing is adding the word annual to this very important legislation.
Is there further discussion of Senate Bill 156? Senator Balmer.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The members, obviously, adding the annual is not a big deal, but I am going to be voting no because I don't support the concept of the public benefit corporations. Many of you heard me speak on it last year, so I won't repeat that. But the concern that I have is that public benefit corporations sort of rests on top of the premise that there are certain benefits that are talked about in the bill that are held up as being more noble than the benefits of other corporations. And I think one of the best benefits for any corporation is that they're out there trying to make a profit, trying to employ employees, trying to restore our economy. And I think that is the most noble reason that we should all be excited that we have so many businesses in Colorado. Now, I realize that to do the public benefit corporation, you have to do it voluntarily and that the shareholders have to agree to it. And I realize that this could have been a lot more mandatory in some respects, but I still don't support the concept, and I appreciate my gentleman scholar from Fort Collins who has been so patient with me and listening to my arguments. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Would anyone else like to address Senate Bill 156? Seeing none, the question before the committee is the adoption of Senate Bill 156. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Ayes have it, and the bill is adopted. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to House Bill 1080?
House Bill 1080 by Representatives McLaughlin and Quorum and Senator Roberts concerning a sales and use tax exemption for the Colorado Ute Indians.
Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move House Bill 1080.
To the bill, please. Oh, you have a Finance Committee report.
And the Finance Committee report.
To the Finance Committee report, Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Basically, we added the safety clause to the bill.
Discussion on the Finance Committee report. Seeing none, the question before the committee is the adoption of the Finance Committee report. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Ayes have it, and the report is adopted. To the bill, Senator Roberts.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. This bill codifies Colorado Department of Revenue's practice under federal law related to tribal nations, particularly the Southern Ute and Ute Mountain Ute, which are both tribes that have reservations in my district. There were some competing Department of Revenue opinions, and this bill will just clarify what has been existing practice as it regards both motor vehicles and purchase of personal property used on the reservation, and I ask for your support.
Further discussion on House Bill 1080. Seeing none, the question before the committee is the adoption of House Bill 1080. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Ayes have it, and the bill is adopted. Senator Heath.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I move we rise and report.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye. Opposed say no. Ayes have it, and the committee will rise and report.
The Senate will come into order. Senator Stedman.
Thank you, Madam President. Your Committee of the Whole has met and has had several bills under consideration. I'd ask that the clerk please read the report.
March 24, 2014, Madam President, your Committee of the Whole makes these reports out of consideration of the foreign tax bills, making second reading thereof, makes following recommendations around. Senate Bill 156 passed on second reading and ordered in gross, placed on the counter for third reading and final passage. House Bills 1193 as amended, 1210 as amended, 1047 as amended, 1274, 1080 as amended, passed on second reading and ordered revised, placed on the counter for third reading and final passage. Senate Bill 16 laid over until March 31st, 2014, retaining its place on the calendar.
Mr. Senator Stedman.
Thank you, Madam President. I move the adoption of the report of the Committee of the Whole.
Any discussion? Question is the adoption of the Committee of the Whole report. Are there any no votes? With 35 ayes, 0 no, 0 absent, and 0 excused, the Committee of the Whole report is adopted. Senate Bill 156 passed on second reading and ordered engrossed and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. House Bill 1193 is amended, House Bill 1210 is amended, House Bill 1047 is amended, House Bill 1274, House Bill 1080 is amended, passed on second reading and ordered revised and placed on the calendar for third reading and final passage. Senate Bill 16 laid over until March 31st, 2014 and retaining its place on the calendar. Consideration of House amendments to Senate bills. Mr. Majors, would you please read the title to Senate Bill 18?
Senate Bill 18 by Senators Nicholson and Jones and Representatives Hamner and Young concerning the prohibition against furnishing nicotine products to persons under 18 years of age.
Senator Nicholson.
Thank you, Madam President. I move that the Senate concur with House amendments to Senate Bill 18.
That is the proper motion. Proceed to explain. Senator Nicholson.
Thank you, Madam President. I misunderstood and thought all cigarettes had nicotine in them, and if we described in statute that nicotine should not be accessible to minors, it would cover all of the products that are harmful to our youth. I learned that there is a product called a clove cigarette that doesn't have tobacco or nicotine in it, but is harmful to our youth. The House also learned that and worked directly with me on this amendment to make sure that we covered products that are also harmful to youth that don't have nicotine or tobacco in them. So that's the purpose of the amendment.
The question is to concur with House amendments to Senate Bill 18. Are there any no votes on that motion? Senator Baumgartner, Senator Marble, Senators Hill, Rivera, Crowder. With 30 ayes, 5 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, the Senate concurs with House amendments to Senate Bill 18. Senator Nicholson.
Thank you, Madam President. I move for the readoption of Senate Bill 18.
Any discussion? Question for the body is the readoption of Senate Bill 18. Are there any no votes? Mr. Minority Leader, Senators Grantham, Marble, Crowder, Baumgartner, Harvey, Brophy, Lambert, Shuffle, Lundberg, Balmer, Hill, King, Herpin. With 21 ayes, 14 noes, 0 absent, and 0 excused, Senate Bill 18 is readopted. Additional co-sponsors. Senator Todd, you're already on there. Message from the House.
March 24, 2014, Madam President, the House has passed on third reading and transmitted the advisory statutes. House Bill 1288 as amended. The House has passed on third reading and returns to with Senate Bill 28. The House has passed on third reading and transmitted the advisory statutes. Senate Bill 54 as amended, and Senate Bill 98 as amended.
Message from the reviser.
March 24, 2014, we herewith transmit without comment as amended House Bill 1288 without comment as amended Senate Bills 54 and 98.
Signing of bills.
March 24, 2014, the President has signed Senate Joint Resolution 16 and 19.
Delivery to the Governor.
March 24, 2014, to the Governor for signature on Monday, March 24, 2014 at 8:51 a.m. Senate Bill 62, 63, 89, 102, 104, 106, 137, and 142.
Message from the Governor.
March 21st, 2014, to the Honorable Senate. Ladies and gentlemen, I have the honor to inform you that I have approved and filed with the Secretary of State the following acts. Senate Bill 121 concerning financial assistance for local governments after a declared disaster emergency, approved March 21st, 2014 at 1:39 p.m. Senate Bill 138 concerning civil immunity for community volunteers assisting at an emergency, approved March 21st, 2014 at 1:41 p.m. Senate Bill 97 concerning the immunity of public agencies against liability arising from the wildfire mitigation activities of insurance companies, approved March 21st, 2014 at 2:15 p.m. Senate Bill 59 concerning eliminating the statute of limitations for offenses that accompany sex offenses that are not subject to a statute of limitations, approved March 21st, 2014 at 2:00 p.m. Senate Bill 96 concerning renaming state veterans nursing homes to Veterans Community Living Centers to more accurately reflect the wide array of services provided to state veterans, approved March 21st, 2014 at 2:04 p.m. Sincerely, John W. Hickenlooper, Governor.
Announcements. Senator Todd, or Mr. Majority Leader.
Do we need? No? Okay. Okay, go ahead.
Senator Todd.
Thank you, Madam President, and just wanted to remind everyone that we have given you mixed messages here about the tour to DIA tomorrow. We had said at first we were going to leave at 1 o'clock. We're going to leave at 2 o'clock. So if those of you, even if you're not on the Transportation Committee but would like to do the tour, please let me know. Call my office. You'll see on the little flyer that you got today that we're going to meet on the east side of the Capitol on Grant Street, and there will be an RTD bus that will take us out to DIA, and our goal is to be back at the Capitol a little before 5, and so encourage anyone that would like to see what's going on with the progress of 225 and DIA to join us. And again, meet at the bus at close to maybe about 10 till, as soon as you finish your caucuses, and come and meet us then. Thank you very much.
Mr. Majority Leader. And Senator Shuffle.
Yes, thank you, Madam President. Request a moment of personal privilege
Granted.
for Senator Sheffel and myself.
Granted.
Thank you. So, good morning, and we hope you are enjoying the handcrafted dolls found in your chair this morning that we get this time every year. The dolls were made by children across Colorado. In many cases, the dolls were created by children in our own districts. Doll Day is sponsored by the Colorado Children's Campaign, which celebrates its 28th year as a trusted, nonpartisan source of data and expertise on Colorado's children. Doll Day also marks the release of the Children's Campaign annual Kids Count in Colorado's report. It provides us all with vital data and information on the status of children in our state. Kids Count offers both statewide and county-specific data on how our kids are faring. Senator Sheffel.
Senator Shuffle.
Thank you, Madam President and colleagues. Having received your dolls today, this morning, please take your dolls and display them proudly in your office. They stand as a reminder to us to continue making children a priority as we make our important policy decisions. Here's a couple of important events for you. We also invite you to support Colorado Kids by attending the press conference. That'll be held at 10:30 today to release the Kids Count Colorado report. It will be on the west foyer of the Capitol. Speakers will include Children's Campaign President and the Governor. You're also invited to hear more details about this year's report at a lunch and learn that will be held today in the Old Supreme Court chambers at 11:45 a.m. today. Doll Day, as this has affectionately become known, is a great tradition here at our state's capital, and we thank the kids from around the state who made these dolls and the Children's Campaign for making this great event possible. Thank you.
Senator Crowder.
Thank you, Madam President. Until Senator Newell come up, I thought this was going to be a straight men's event. I would like to tell you that I still have last year's doll, and I will display them proudly. But I just want you to take note that these are all men up here talking about dolls. And we do appreciate the kids of the state of Colorado. Thank you. Oh.
Senator Crowder, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Senator Noel.
Oh, I would say no.
Thank you, Madam President. I just wanted to say amen to keeping your dolls. I have every doll since I've been here since 2009 in my office. You are welcome to look at the cacophony of dolls that we have in our office, and they do remind me of how I need to remember to vote for the children of Colorado. And so thank you, Colorado Children's Campaign, and especially for your research and the data that comes out per district. So you can get data per your district from them, and it is very, very helpful. So thank you.
Senator Shuffle, I think you were next.
Thank you, Madam President. Request moment of personal privilege.
Granted.
Thank you. So, colleagues, on a slightly different note, but on the same theme as children, I just wanted to take a second to introduce somebody who's visiting me here at the Capitol today, one Jillian Greer, if she could stand up. Jillian comes to us as an award-winning math student. You'll notice she's not alone, but I just wanted to recognize Jillian as she is an award-winning math student. In her class, she received a high score in a contest of sorts in her class. She's joined by 25 of her friends, along with their teacher, one Carla Hogan, who is their teacher. They come from us from Denver Christian Elementary School. I'm sorry, these are fourth graders. The older kids are down the street. Denver Christian Elementary School. Jillian, congratulations, and welcome to the rest of your friends that are accompanying you.
Senator Gonzalez.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Real quick, just want to acknowledge once again, if it hasn't been done strongly enough, the Colorado Children's Campaign that works with the N.E. Casey Foundation to put out the Kids Count report. They are a good organization. I think in many ways we're fortunate that they are in Colorado and do the good work, the database work that they do. And I would really encourage folks to be there for the Lunch and Learn this after or shortly to learn some of the details of the Kids Count report and how it relates to each of our districts and each of our counties. Thank you.
Mr. Majority Leader.
Thank you, Madam President. On announcements, committees meeting as scheduled today. I've also been asked to announce that the Transportation Committee will not be meeting this Thursday, and all the bills that were scheduled for Thursday will be laid over until Tuesday, April 1st, just for your planning purposes. And with that, Madam President, I would move that the Senate adjourn till 9 a.m. Tuesday, March 25th.
You've heard the motion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Ayes have it. The Senate will adjourn until tomorrow, 9 a.m., Tuesday, March 25th.